Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Avoid bright, shiny objects so you can attract consistent clients and grow your service business. If you follow the tips and tricks in this podcast, you'll be well on your way to getting the sales breakthrough you've been looking for and deserve. And you might be wondering, why is this important right now? It's because a lot of coaches and consultants are doing what we call following the bright, shiny objects. And usually these things are nearly not as what it is that you need. So in this podcast, we're going to be talking about how to avoid, bright, shiny objects so that you can literally create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And in this podcast, like I say, you will find 3 small business tips to help you stop getting distracted by bright, shiny objects and start attracting consistent clients to get the sales breakthrough that you've always been looking for. And if you're wondering why you're here and why this particularly matters right now, that's more than a reason for you to actually pay attention. My name is Prosper, and you're listening to the Online Prosperity Experience, where if you're a coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner that is passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life while you're doing it, then you're in the right place, my friend. My mission is to help coaches and consultants like yourself build a brand that they're proud of and create a lifestyle that they love. And one thing you absolutely gotta do is avoid shiny objects, because these shiny objects lead to inconsistent sales, inconsistent profits, inconsistent lifestyles. And if as a coach or consultant, you want to create something that is remarkable. Okay, so obviously now that you know why you should be here and why this is the podcast to listen to, and if you're a service-based small to medium business owner, you've probably seen or have been distracted by all the bright, shiny objects at some point. I mean, obviously, if you're on social media, throughout the whole news feed, somebody has a tool, system, process, app, plugin that is designed to make your life cheaper, better, faster. And half of the time, you just notice that all of those are just wheel spinners that are boldly taking you nowhere. You really got to be consistent with your target market. You need to clarify your message and work considerably hard in order to disseminate that message through a media that is convenient for you. So, maybe it is, when you've always had an idea, on how to get started in your business, and there's never a shortage of people that think they can do it better for you, people that think they can do it cheaper for you, or people that can do it faster for you. You need to actually understand and know what is it that you are hoping to create. All right. So maybe, it was when you had the great idea for you to actually start your business, or you wanted to launch a different service in your business, and it didn't really take off, or it didn't actually sell well. The reason is because you were not consistent enough with that idea, or you actually followed somebody else's half-baked, ideas, and they yielded no results. Or maybe you just signed up for a fantastic new marketing tool or marketing system that some guru from some guru casino is proving and has a whole lot of shills talking good about their product, and still you're not maybe getting results from it. Or maybe you're trying to implement some maybe incredible new idea or formula that you maybe found inside a freebie that magically appeared on your Facebook newsfeed or Instagram, or some new TikTok fad that is designed to grow your business, but it actually is not working out or even giving you any results that are promised. The only result that you're receiving is the money going out of your account from the person who's selling you that particular problem or product. You see, the problem is bright shiny objects like this are nearly always not what you need. Okay, they distract you from focusing on selling your core service offerings, and they usually end up costing you your precious time, your precious money, and your precious effort, and they usually slow you down, especially when it comes to business growth. Plus, it usually completely drains your energy, your motivation, and when you don't get the consistent sales or results that you've been hoping for, you now start thinking, wait, maybe nobody wants to buy what it is that you're selling, or maybe nobody wants to actually work with you, whereas you have not been consistent enough to create for and relate to the audience that you're going to be demanding money off of. The truth is, bright and shiny object syndrome is simply unhelpful when you're trying to attract clients or make consistent sales or even grow your service business. It actually leads to a path where you're consistently doing something pulled in multiple different directions all at once, and you're always starting again from scratch. You are definitionally a rookie at everything that you're doing, whereas you have the expertise, you've got the information that you've been working so hard to accumulate, and you don't seem to be scratching the surface at all. It's because you're not being consistent. You're just following that bright, shiny object, okay? And half of the time, a lot of people are not giving themselves or their business a chance to actually build momentum. Every sort of ocean that's out there started off as a drop of rain. Okay, if you really figure that out, you don't necessarily wake up and become an ocean today. No. It starts off as a raindrop, and that raindrop collects into a puddle. That puddle starts flowing into a river. That river collects into a lake. That lake keeps expanding, and soon you have an ocean, or if that's the way it works, but you get my drift. And it actually takes you a longer time to find your way back on track when you've lost your way while you're following the rabbit holes out there of bright and shiny objects. And shiny objects are usually very wrong, especially if like me here in Australia, a lot of kangaroos hit by cars because of that glaring light, and they just keep looking at the light. If you're in other areas where you've got deers, the statement that like a deer in headlights, they don't know what to do. They just keep getting mesmerized by that bright and shiny thing, and that's just the way a lot of animals lose their footing. All right, so there may be a few small wins along the way, you know what I mean? Of course, you might just win a few followers here and there, but you don't see life-changing results, you know what I mean? You don't see large enough results that you would actually take to the bank. But without focus and a solid marketing strategy and a plan, it will actually lead to a long term problem that you would have to then fix as if you're starting all over again. And that's why a lot of people failed to get past the COVID era, because they hadn't created the fundamental foundations that are actually needed, because all that they were doing was following fads, following whatever people were talking about on social media. Bright and shiny objects are a common issue with a lot of small to medium business owners, including I sometimes fall prey to some other things. But nowadays I'm very careful about what I'm doing. I'm very skeptical when it comes to new strategies, because I believe there's nothing new under the sun. If something has some sort of married to it. I want to see proof. I want to see a track record. I want to see time and skin in the game for the people that are actually talking about it. If there's none of that, then obviously I just know it's a fad. And I know a lot of people struggle to know, or determine between fact or fiction. So, I'm going to try and help you out in this podcast today. But however, there's a better way and there's an easier way to actually start making consistent sales and build your business. But you've got to put in the work. All right. So in this podcast, we're already 10 minutes in. I want you to find 3 small business tips that I'm going to use to help you, stop getting distracted by shiny objects and actually start attracting consistent clients to get, sales breakthroughs that you've been looking for. And one other thing that I want you to actually start noticing, if you're using this podcast as a distraction, I want you to stop listening right now and go do the work that you're supposed to be doing. Don't pretend to be working or pretend to be learning something and using me as an excuse for not doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. So here's permission from me to actually switch off this podcast and go and do the work that matters for people who care. I was actually looking around while I was preparing for this podcast today, and I actually found that there's a song on the internet, about shiny object syndrome, and he calls it SOS. He says you've got a glimpse of something that's catching your eye, you want to buy this thing, no good reason why, SOS, you've got shiny object syndrome. The guy's called Daniel Thrasher. Yeah, brilliant work, my man. Brilliant work. Keep at it. All right, so back to reality and the actual work that actually matters. I actually got distracted there. That was a shiny object. I'm not literally listening to my own message right here. One thing you need to do is commitment, okay? Especially when it comes to marketing. You want to commit to your marketing strategy for at least 90 days. All right. The reason why 90 days is a staple is because in month number 1, you're probably still struggling with understanding what you're supposed to be doing. Month number 2, you now get the sort of fundamentals of that strategy and process. And then month number 3, you actually now have the momentum, okay? Because a lot of people try something for a week and they just think, oh my God, it's not working. You know what I mean? Some people come to me and say email marketing is probably dead. And I'm like, how long have you been trying it? Oh, I sent a couple of emails and they bounced. And I'm like, wait a minute, when did that happen? Because one thing that I've noticed in the last couple of years that I've been really serious and hell-bent on email marketing is, there's people out there that are always busy and have got autoresponders on their emails. So when you send out an email to them, you get an autoresponder. Oh, I'm trying to get my emails, whatnot. So don't use that as a deterrent, okay? What one person is going through is not necessarily what you will be going through in your life. So you want to commit to your marketing strategy for at least 90 days, all right? Now, if you've put in the work and you've maybe developed a marketing strategy and a plan, and if you haven't, I want you to stop listening to this podcast right now and schedule a call with me so that we can create a marketing strategy for you where we'll definitely work hands-on with you and develop a strategic plan, and then we'll deep dive and work through your ideal client clarity. We'll look at your strategic messaging, your consulting or your coaching offers, and maybe your fees and pricing, and then also look at your business model optimization to really gauge and notice if you have the right systems for you to actually create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And then I'll help you set up your marketing engine and lead generation system so you can consistently attract your ideal clients. But that takes time, that takes money, that takes effort, and you need to commit for you to actually start seeing the results, okay? You see, your clients need to see you at least 8 to 20 touch points. That way they get to know, like, and trust you. It's quite funny. Over the weekend, we were dog sitting a friend's little puppy, and we came across another couple that had a puppy that looked the same as Milo, the dog that we were dog sitting, and the dogs just kept whiffing each other. You know how they sniff each other, just getting to understand who the other puppy and the dog is. And we noticed that they took a long time getting a good whiff, of the other dog. And when we parted ways, and we went the other direction, and the other couple went the other direction, funnily enough, we met again in another street, and the dogs did the same thing, gave each other another whiff. And I started thinking to myself, wait a minute, our customers are doing the same. Even though I'm not saying it in terms of the dogs, but dogs have got it good. They have understood what it means to actually commit and to actually get to know, like, and trust somebody. Because yes, you've smelled this person before, but they want a really good whiff. Understanding what the message is, understanding what the actual marketing is, and understanding if they're the right kind of person that needs the solutions that you're putting out there. So if you have actually done that, your customers will come again and again, and they want a really good whiff. Have you been consistent enough for them to get the same scent? All right, so if you've put in the work and developed a marketing strategy and a plan, you actually have the clarity and direction you need to make consistent sales, all right? However, you also need to commit to the strategy and plan and make sure that it's a conscious choice. It's something that you absolutely love. It's something that your customers are going to be asking for again and again. And you're actually going to be following through, not just for 90 days, but in perpetuity, you know what I mean? Because when somebody gets to know you about you today, it doesn't necessarily mean that they stop everything that they're doing and start following you or start watching your stuff. They might hear from you today, and then maybe after 2 weeks, and then after 3 weeks, and then they want to revisit. You have to be consistent, and you have to be consistently there in order for you to help them solve their problems, all right? So 90 days is an amount of time that will actually enable you to, first of all, plan and then implement and then actually measure the results of your sales and marketing activities. And if you don't allow these activities time to work or time to actually mature and come to fruition, or for you to actually change your mindset, or your business model to catch up with whatever activities that you are working on, you won't know what's working well and what's not working. You know what I mean? So for you to improve your sales and marketing performance, you'll need to follow a process of continuous improvement, but you're not necessarily taking a sledgehammer every 90 days, but you're using a scalpel. What's working, you keep. What's not working, you ditch. So I actually recommend setting aside some time to maybe start each quarter and sort of map out and maybe create a complete plan to know exactly where you're going to be focusing on next and what it is that you're going to be working on. And this focus will actually help you stop random acts of marketing, as I call them, and you actually stop getting distracted by everything that will pop up unexpectedly during the quarter, because there's always going to be somebody who has a way to do things cheaper, better, faster than you've ever come across. And I want you to realize and know that there's nothing new under the sun. As long as you've identified your market, you've clarified your message, and you determine what media you're going to be using, to disseminate that message, all you got to realize and show up for is having an intricate understanding of what you want your target market to ask you to do for them. And then you just keep repeating that over and over and over again. And talking about, your target market asking you what they want you to do for them, you want to identify your core services and focus on selling those, all right? You don't want to, start, stop, or, do any false starts, especially when it comes to your services. Because if your services are not consistent enough for your clients, guess what? They are actually going to assume they're never going to get a result, okay? People yearn for consistency in a world that is just filled with mediocrity out there. So when you're just maybe starting out, in your business, you may decide to sell several different services while you're testing the market, and you're actually getting an understanding of what it is that you're going to bring to the table, which is, okay. But while you're in startup phase, and you're still trying to identify your ideal clients, you need to actually figure out which of these services, first of all, are easy for you to, deliver in such a way that you actually do it consistently without you breaking the bank or your back in the process. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are offering $3,000 products and giving $25,000 worth of value. You need to actually look at what are you offering the marketplace, and is it, is it fair enough on you and also for the people that are paying you to receive that service, and but if you're sort of maybe looking for business growth and consistent sales, you must actually move into a phase where you are refining your service offerings. All right, and then you want to get really focused on improving, on promoting and selling your highest value services, because if somebody has already started getting free information from you, they want to learn more, and if they learn more, you better have something that is consistent to what they've been learning from you, that they're just going to be a continuation of the service, of the learning that they are gathering from you. So it might be health, it might be wealth, it might be relationships, whatever it is, it has to be consistent. And you actually have to continuously promote these services to these people so that they will be, they can turn into customers that pay, stay, and refer. All right. So when you repeatedly promote, the same services, you actually start building up awareness and position yourself as an expert in maybe delivering that type of service that you sell. What are you known for? Okay, what sort of results are you known for? That is how you show up in the market and create the credibility that we all yearn for. Credibility is not something that you can buy. It is something that is earned, okay? And you need to have skin in the game for people to actually trust, your service or your products, you know what I mean? Because history is not something that you can buy. It's something that you have to live through, and you can't do that if you're not consistent and you're just jumping from one project to another. You know what I mean? You need to get really focused. You need to improve, you need to keep promoting, and you need to keep selling. And when you repeatedly do the same thing, people get to know you, like you, and trust you. And we all know that people do business with those they know, like, and trust. One thing you should know is anybody else who is looking for instant gratification knows nothing about business. It takes 21 years to be 21 years old. So it can take time for your ideal clients to actually become familiar with all your services and how they work. You might get tired of repeating what it is that you're saying, but it is always a first time for somebody to hear about you, and you want to make sure that you're consistently, being consistent with the message. So you want to add repetition to your marketing, and it will actually help you make more consistent sales. Why do you think I come here every single day, with usually the same message, which is not any far from identify your target market, clarify your message, and determine what media you're going to be reaching out to your audience. That is my actual message. And if you look at through all the podcasts that I've been putting out there, the message has been the same. And I've actually, trained my staff, my team, and even our website to just be, consistent with that message. And I don't care how long it's going to take. I know that my clients, my audience are always going to find me wherever they go. They will always find their way back home. All right. So in order for you to actually stay on track, with whatever it is that you're doing, you also want to surround yourself with a network of people that can actually help you stay on track and accountable. Because if you're not being accountable to anyone, you know what? You might just want to change or pivot, as they call it these days, and it doesn't really work out for you. So I invite you to check out if, our virtual marketing manager program is something that could be of use for you. Because I want you to imagine having access to top digital marketing experts as virtual team members at the fraction of the cost, and that's my offer to you. So you're going to be surrounding yourself with these people that are going to be accountable to your online growth, a team of your own that you will actually use to build your own digital presence and actually gain access to a whole team of skilled marketers that are hell-bent to create a business for you that is profitable, and enjoyable. The reason why I'm saying this is it's so easy to get distracted when you have so much to do as a small business owner, especially if you're trying to wear so many hats in your business. So I recommend you surrounding yourself with either a network or a community, or like I said, getting a virtual marketing manager from us that can actually help you stay accountable and be on track. And having people around you who have also been where you want to go can actually be valuable advice, because you are no longer doing any false starts. You're literally just working on systems, processes, and strategies that have worked prior. All you're just doing is inputting your own flavor to things that are already working. You know what I mean? And you will actually be getting valuable advice and experience that will actually help you identify when you're getting distracted or when you're getting off track. And you might not see the bigger picture, but somebody else who's on the outside will be able to really show you and help you have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And if you're not sure where to start, you can search on Google for networking membership groups in your area. Or you can literally just check out our virtual marketing manager program, where our team becomes your team. And like I said, imagine just having top digital marketing experts as your virtual team member at the fraction of the cost. That's our offer to you. So you don't necessarily have to be doing all the work yourself. We would actually be helping you by actually helping you. All right. So a lot of people get distracted. There's so much that's happening on the internet, and we don't quite know where to start, simply because we're just spraying and praying with our marketing. But I want to advise you that when you commit to your marketing strategy for at least 90 days, you, my friend, would actually be above all the other people in your industry that are just spraying and praying with their marketing and looking for what sticks. And then if it doesn't necessarily give them the result that they're after, they're on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And if you actually identify what your core services are, guess what? You become better at actually producing the results that your customers get to know and get to trust. Have you ever noticed that right now, if you really look at it, the washing soap that you use is what your mom used to use, is what your grandmother used to use, or it's something that has been tried and trusted for a very, very long time. So you also want to make sure that you are amongst the businesses that are referred to. Why? Because you always generate results that your clients are always craving for. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are really clear on the future that your customers want to buy, not the features of what you're selling. Because if you concentrate on the features, you will then be tempted to look in the marketplace to see what other people are doing. And that's when shiny object syndrome takes its own hold. And pretty much after you've done that, you want to surround yourself with people that will keep you accountable, people that you are actually, working the hardest, not to please, but to actually make sure that they, are holding you accountable, and that you're not going to be distracted and you will fall prey to all the other shenanigans out there that are promising the world and delivering nothing. All right. So there you have it. My top 3 small business tips, to avoid bright and shiny objects, so you can actually attract consistent clients and you can grow your service business. And I've offered you an opportunity to have our team as your team, because we've been building, these virtual teams, that are, proven to help businesses online for over 10 years. And we've acquired a wealth of experience of what's actually working. So we know how to actually make your digital marketing profitable. And you can pick our brains, at any given moment, and you're guaranteed that we will never, lead you astray, or maybe show you what's not working and things that we're not actually using in our business. I want you to attract consistent clients and grow your coaching or service business. And when you follow these tips, you'll be well on your way to get the sales breakthrough that you've been looking for and you actually deserve. So if you want more of this, stuff, just jump onto the link that comes with this podcast. And I definitely want that you be able to create, a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au